Guys, what's going on? Legion Nuda here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Today Gaming XP Grind, episode 64. So, today I want to focus a little bit on cooking. If you missed our last episode, we actually worked on rune crafting quite a bit. We didn't get to all the nodes, it took quite a bit of time, and that was an expected thing. But obviously at some point we will be going back and making sure to grab the rest. But obviously we can keep knocking them down out of the sky and add to the stacks that we didn't happen to get to. We also didn't turn a lot of that into runes. And partially for the reason for that is just that obviously when Fell Hollow comes to the game, we are going to be getting new runes to the game. This actually hasn't really been discussed and it's not been confirmed, but I'm very, very certain that they will be adding new spells to the game as well as potentially new runes. And why do I think that? I think that Fell Hollow, I talked about this a little bit, but I believe that Fell Hollow sets up the perfect platform for basically increasing all skills by 10 levels. There's nothing that really backs this up, right? There's no confirmation, but interestingly, you're going to add a lot of new materials to the game, right? So all the skills that we currently use in the game are going to need counterparts that allow all those things to work together. So I think that's going to open up the door to get more levels for skills. So I think that it's actually quite a large overhaul for the developer team to be doing. But basically you're going to get, I'm thinking 10 levels worth of new things. I think that makes sense. Maybe even 15. I'm not entirely sure. But basically you're going to have willow logs added to the game. You're going to have new rocks that you can mine. And I think with all this comes basically the need, or you basically have to have the ability to do these things with these items, right? Creating new gear, and then with the skill requirements, which I'm pretty sure will be implemented in the Fell Hollow, I believe that that's going to be the opportunity that they take to sort of gear it all towards that. And that's just what I think. I believe it should be about 10 levels, maybe 15, because you have to imagine at some point they've got to get everything to 99, but obviously they don't want to do it too fast, because I think then that would, I mean, they've got to do it in a progression. I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. So we just got to kind of wait and see what that's going to look like. But right now I'm collecting a lot of resources that have to do with cooking. Obviously cooking is treacherous. It's not one of those things that's really hard. It's more one of the things that's going to be very time consuming. And ultimately, I don't really see a faster way to do it. And you could just say, oh, well, why don't you just wait until more things come into the game? I talk about this quite often. The truth is, you think it's going to be faster, but I think that these creatures and that these different ways that you're going to actually be able to level up your cooking and things like that, obviously are going to involve like higher level creatures. They're going to involve more difficult terrain. You know, that's something I really don't know if I've touched base on, but I want you to just take a minute and just imagine that they did talk about an area that basically was going to have sun, so you have to stay in a shade. So yes, you're going to get more XP for killing other creatures. I don't know why, but the graphics look better here right now. Just sort of noticing that. I'm not entirely sure why that is. But anyway, ultimately, you're going to have to fight creatures, and they are going to be dropping new resources that potentially give you more XP when you cook them inside recipes. But I think you also have to understand that if there are going to be elements in the actual area that you're playing the game, it's going to make it a lot more tricky to be killing a lot of these creatures, monsters, whatever you want to say, because some of them are just probably going to be animals, which I think is all in itself quite exciting, that we're going to have new animals to kill. Obviously, I'm quite sick of killing the same ones over and over, but at the end of the day, I've still got to get XP and level up all these different skills. So I really don't think it's the end of the world that I've had to kill these same ones over and over. If anything, I think it's just sort of part of the progression and my choice to have continued to play the game with no new content really, other than magic coming to the game and things like that. But obviously, September 9th, quite excited about it. We're going to be getting range to the game. What's this going to change if they don't add any monsters? Not a lot, right? It's just essentially going to be doing the same thing I've been doing all this time, but now with a new attack style. So obviously, helping my progression further. And that's all you can pretty much do, is just make a decision to yourself. Do I want to keep playing the game, even though they've got nothing new, really, other than potentially skills that you can level up that won't really provide any sort of new environments or creatures and things like that. So it's really going to depend on you and then what kind of a player you are. Because if you're into grinding XP, then it doesn't really matter what's here. You are trying to establish something and make something happen. So I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't know what's going on right now, but these graphics look so different to me. Maybe it is just me, but I just everything looks a little bit different and more like vibrant. I'm not sure what that is because it potentially my graphics card and everything inside my computer are actually amazing. So I can't necessarily say that it's under less strain because nothing's different. I'm not doing anything different on in the computer in the background. So I'm not sure why that would actually happen or what would be the reason for that. But ultimately, I'm grateful. You can see a lot better. It could be something to do with the storm above us, but I believe that's always there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's almost as if this time that I loaded the game, that everything is more bright. So I wonder if it's the graphics card potentially auto-adjusting to give us this look, but it's actually quite cool. So we're actually grateful for it. It's not really something I'm complaining about, more so just noticing. I think that's actually quite cool. So we are just going to keep grabbing dwellberries and killing sheep and ram as they come. So ultimately, this is going to be great. I think it was a couple episodes ago, I got like 3,000 XP in cooking. And I think the reason that I got so much is because I'm obviously doing a lot of resources that are higher level. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits of spending time in these higher level areas. Obviously, yes, they do pose a lot more threat, but at the same time, they obviously pose or reward you for being out here. And it can be incredibly dangerous. As you've seen in a lot of my videos, I die often, and it's because you tempt fate, I think, when you spend more time in areas like this that are obviously more dangerous and have creatures that could basically end your life so abruptly. But obviously, that's something we've got to do if we want to continue to be successful in our progression to max. So we are going to see this archer here. So he's obviously going to pose a huge problem to us right now. But we've got to knock him out. But that's going to give us some magic XP, so it's really not the end of the world. But ultimately, we've got a couple of animals over here and a couple of dwellberry plants that we're going to want to grab. I think that's going to be the smartest move right here. We actually just came here for the dwellberries, and we're not expecting any sheep or ram, so it's kind of a bonus. But I mean, for some of you who don't really feel that a lot's being accomplished in these episodes, for those of you who play and understand, these things just take time, so we're not really worried about it. I think if anything, we understand the progression of the game just takes a little bit of time sometimes. So that's actually something that I don't want to say we've planned ahead for, but essentially it's going to take time to reach different tiers and levels in the things that we're trying to do. And that's quite all right with us. So it looks like we've got all the dwellberries here. And there's a couple other places that we could actually go. The problem is you come in here and we get stuck. So we could check right here and see potentially maybe they have not a good... Well, there are some here, but it's too close. So we're not going to be able to load in efficiently. But I think we'll be okay if we come in here. We've got a little bit of onions. So... that's quite a bit of onions right there. And there's actually quite a bit of dwellberry plants out here. So we can grab these. There's actually a ridiculous amount. So I know I'm not really killing the sheep and the ram in this moment. But we're also getting a lot of resources for cooking. So quite a bit. I almost want to move my teleport stone a little bit closer in. Because I feel like that way when I teleport in just to grab cooking resources, I'll be a lot closer. So I think that might actually work out in my benefit a lot more. I think that's another thing, like I've stated before. I don't really talk about this anymore, but originally I didn't even realize you could build more than 3 lodestones. I don't really remember where I read it before, but I was under the impression you could only build 3. And that is a literal game changer. The fact that you can actually have more than 3. And as you can see, my map is absolutely ridiculously full of them. And the reason for this is ultimately that you want to be able to get where you need to go quickly. Because obviously that lets you navigate the game a lot better. And I think the big thing with that is make sure you're grabbing extra lodestones inside the vaults, because I didn't even know you could get extra inside the vaults, which actually made another huge difference for us while playing a game. Because I thought I was limited to what I've already gotten. So I guess essentially you just learn different things while you're playing the game, and then all these different things start to pile up, and then they help your experience while you're playing the game. So just keep learning, keep searching in a game and find different things that are going to work for you. But ultimately, we've found quite a bit in the time we've been playing the game. So I'm sure you'll find different things that can help you as well. But this is a double whammy here right now, and I'm going to try to get behind this rock before he gets another blast off. I'm really tired of dying in the game. It's a constant thing now, and we've also got this guy with this giant shield, and he's going to try to kill us. So it's terrible. But like I stated, this is an area that if you're going to be navigating, you've got to be careful. He's already after me. You've got to be careful here because this is a deadly place. But obviously, there's a lot of good things here that can get you great XP. Just sort of looking around to see if I see any sheep and ram, and I do not. Obviously, our health is low too. We've got to try to keep that in mind. It's just we run around quite a bit, so sometimes we forget things like that, and then we get attacked, and then we're dead. So it's nighttime. Also, never a good time to be out here. I've discussed this many times about this area. So if you happen to be out here and it's nighttime, just pray, because that's all you can do. Because it doesn't take much. You get attacked, something else happens, and then you're dead. So, but dwellberries, I think, are a great way to get cooking XP. So if you're trying to get cooking XP and you feel confident enough that you want to come out here, I'm not guaranteeing your survival. In fact, you'll probably die quite often when you're out here. But I think it's just part of the game. Just try to maneuver yourself and get yourself away from those more treacherous creatures as often as possible. Even the lightning, I couldn't stop there. My character sort of just, I don't know, he wasn't running as fast as he was, and we got shot again. But I'm not sure if these dwellberry plants are going to be ready to grab. But I think that's what you could do if you want, really. You could potentially spend a good part of the day, maybe go to your base and just sit there and wait for things to respawn, or you could do other things in the game while they're respawning. But obviously trying to pick as many dwellberries as you can in a day would actually provide quite a bit of cooking XP. But a lot of these take some time. Maybe if we go to sleep and then we come back, a lot of these will actually have been respawned. I'll go ahead and empty my inventory as well. We might actually have to build another chest too, because I find that we've got so much junk now. Let's see how much that's going to take. So we're probably going to need another one for food, and we're also going to need another one for this stuff, because I really don't want to get things too crazy. We're probably going to do a little bit more. I don't really want to deal with a warband right now. 100% honest, I do not want to deal with that. So what I will do is run around and shoot down some more of this. Obviously, we've got to start this again. It's not necessarily the funnest thing to do, but this is what grinding is. So it's basically just rinse, repeat, and then eventually, hopefully, you'll get to your goals, and it's just crazy. Not eventually. I mean, you will, and eventually, yes, but I don't want to say it like it's some dooming thing. Obviously, it's totally doable, and obviously, it just takes persistence and determination. But this is the worst part, having to come out here and shoot all these down. But it's just sort of going to be part of our progression. But I guess we could grab the berries while we're here. That will help a little bit. That can help us. Let's go ahead. I believe we're coming to a close here with time anyway. So I'm going to try to be really quick with this. But you can see here, my aim in this video is incredible. Sometimes it's a lot worse. But right now, this is just a good way to... Oh my gosh. That's not my fault. That's the way that the rock is aimed. So don't go blaming me. But basically, you could see in the beginning there, I got a lot better at shooting. And then I got to that point and everything sort of just started to fall apart. I wish I had like little tips. But you can see here, I'm having a ridiculous amount of trouble here. But I don't know. This is basically what it consists of. Running around, shooting down essence nodes all the time. But this gets us ready for our next path of basically working on rune crafting again at some point. You know, September 9th is actually not that far away. And I think that it's going to create an explosion of new and fun and exciting things to do in the game. Hopefully they give us a little bit more than just range. I was really interested in building, and I'm not sure about other people, but that interest sort of kind of dwindled a little bit. And I think the large part of the reason for that is basically that just, I don't know, I feel like I built everything that I wanted to build, so I don't think that pertains to everyone. But for me, I built a lot of the stuff that I wanted to build, but we've got a real problem here because this guy's going to shoot us It's a good thing there's not all the other guys too that usually hang out together. Maybe we can get this done before we have to leave, because I don't want to miss out. There we go. So now we're going to go here. These are back, so we're going to shoot these down as well. And then we're going to grab these. Shoot these down as well. But you can see for the most part, my range accuracy has improved greatly. It's just, I think when you're in a hurry too, you're going to miss sometimes, and it's not really the end of the world. But you can see here, I've got a ridiculous amount on the ground. This is probably our most full area of rune essence. And look at the stars. That's actually so cool. I never really even paid attention to that in a game. So let's go here. We've got these respond. We're going to shoot these, and I think that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. But we will go over an XP update, as I think that's always something good to do. I might actually put a little piece of wood too here, because I really don't want to have to deal with the vines anymore. And then that will allow us to let you know whether or not it will stop them from spawning. Because it seems to just be very irritating and an inconvenience, and I think it's completely unnecessary. So let's go ahead and see if these are back, and they're not. So is it nighttime again? I thought I already went to sleep. Maybe not. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to go to sleep, wake up, and then we are going to do an XP update. And then that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. But I think we got quite a bit done. It doesn't necessarily feel like it, right? But we're only putting in 15 minutes, and then sometimes we're doing behind the scenes. So I guess it really just depends on how much I've done behind the scenes and then what I can accomplish in one of the videos. But we went to sleep. That guy must have been from the warband, one of the survivors who got stuck in my base. So anyway, attack 297,000 XP, woodcutting 1 million XP. We've got construction sitting at 2,009,000 XP. A lot of these skills here aren't going to really move a lot. Rune crafting, 539,000 XP. I think I said that right. 539,000 XP. We got magic at 86,175. Mining, 4,080,000. Artisan, 4,094,000. And cooking, 225,000. So a lot of that excess cooking XP that looks brand new is just from picking things. So that's actually quite nice. But anyways, we'll see you guys again soon, tomorrow. So until then, we appreciate you guys watching our content. We hope you're enjoying it. If you have not already had an opportunity to subscribe, or just even send a like or a message, we'd love to hear from you guys. But anyway, until next time, Legion Nuda out.